Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man, Moray DB. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell so you can know when new material is coming out. IG Elephant Man _ podcast, and also Facebook / Elephant Man Podcast, and also on YouTube. Share this with somebody. I didn't put it on my Facebook, but it's exclusive one right here for the Facebook. For the YouTube people. And we have my brother in the building, Rohan. Let me bring him on in here. Blessings to you.
Shalom.
Shalom, brother. How's it
Shalom.
going? How do you
Good.
pronounce the last name one more time?
Raghuram. So it's like,
Raghuram.
so think of the set apart angel in Enoch, Raguel, Raghuram.
Oh yeah. We're not playing out here today. What's going on? We want to just say what's going on to Calvin Andrews. Blessings to you. Blessings, shalom. Blessings to Ruhama. Always. Blessings to you. Blessings to everybody coming in. Make sure y'all share it, because again, it's not in Facebook at all, not in the Elephant Man Podcast site or my regular feed. Shine a shade, always. Blessings. Blessings to you. All right, and as more people come in. So Brother Rohan, this is an interesting subject. I put this box out saying we was going to talk about Hinduism, and I don't know what they thought. They seen the box, hope that, they was like, what? DB was going to talk about Hinduism. But we're going to talk about the origins of Hinduism. What is it? Where did it come from? And what better person to help talk about it than a person who experienced it a little bit. So you want to give me a little background on that?
Yes. So I've grown up basically in Hinduism. So originally, I'm from South India, and in South India, in the state of Tamil Nadu. But all of South India, they are very strict with the whole the caste system. And so in terms of my caste or my tribe, I come from the Brahman caste system. And so we were the priests. But so it's kind of like Yasharel, where the Levites were the priests, the Judah were the kings. But the difference was, shout out to Brother Zadok, pointing out that Israel was kind of different from the other nations, because Israel treated everyone equally, even though the Levites had a role, Yehuda had a role. But in India, that was not the case. The Brahmins and the Kshatriya, and the Brahmins were the priestly class. Kshatriyas were the kings or the warrior class. Then you had the merchant class, who were the Vaishya class. And then the farmers, and the workers that actually helped build a lot of these temples were the Shudra and the Dalit class.
Wow. Hey, so are there multiple gods, or is it some main gods, or so how does that go?
So the thing is, so Hinduism believes, or from the Vedas, that was that was my ancestors' scriptural book, the Vedas, and they believe this spiritual being that was Brahman, and Brahman manifested in 3 forms, or Vishnu. It was originally Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. And then it branched out into goddess worship, which is Kali. It got branched out into worshiping Ganesha, Hanuman, Krishna, and Rama. But in this discussion is very interesting because we're gonna find out who Brahman really is, and
Mm.
that led to my awakening as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You about to bring it out. Hey man, we gonna be praying for backlash for sure, brother. Cause thank you. Cause this is grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. So just let me know whenever you want to show those slides but yeah, that's
So,
interesting, man. That's interesting. Some of them names you named I've heard, and I was like, wow, I'm surprised I heard that too. So you want
so
me to bring the slides up or no?
yes, sir.
All right, let's see. I wonder can everybody see that? Can you move it front, forward, and back too?
Yep, I can
Okay,
move it.
okay, okay.
All right. So this is like with about Hinduism. This is all the different deities um, of Hinduism, and yes, I acknowledge that they did have some godlike powers, but from reading the scriptures and then just understanding the Bible and comparing what I learned as a kid, they're not the most high. you
Amen.
know the mo the in what really my first awakening was the most high could create life with his mouth, but he could
Hmm.
also take away life with his mouth.
Yeah.
But these deities, they had to show through physical actions their power, their might, their strength.
Okay.
So that's where the difference is. And then so a lot of the popular, so these are some of the popular deities. Shiva, you notice that he has kind of like these locks, if you can see. And then this is Krishna. Vishnu is here. Rama is here. And then this is the goddess or Kali, Parvati.
Hmm.
And then this is Ganesha, and then this is Hanuman, and this is Brahma. Brahma is interesting. We're gonna get on touch. We're gonna touch on that and why he's not really worshipped at all. And so moving on to the next slide. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the origin of Hinduism. So this book, if you want to understand like the beginnings of Hinduism, it's known as Essential Hinduism
Hmm.
by Stephen Rosen. So it is one of the oldest religions in the world. Um, Secular texts say it's traced to the Indus Valley civilization.
Okay.
But what's interesting is even the Indus Valley civilization was already worshiping Shiva at that time, Pashupati.
Hmm.
But when we go to the Most High's word in the book of Jasher, it's even before the Indus Valley civilization. It was
Hmm.
during that Tower of Babel. So in Jasher 745, when all the nations' tongues heard of this is talking about Nimrod, of
Hmm.
his fame, and they gathered themselves to them, and they bowed down to the earth. They brought him offerings, and he became their Adonai and king. And they all dwelt with him in the city at Shinar. And Nimrod reigned in the earth over all the sons of Noah, and they were all under his power and counsel.
Hmm.
And I see the same thing with Hinduism, bringing offerings to these deities. So that Hinduism is very close from from what I found in the book of Jasher, that is very close to that Babylonian religion, that ancient Babylonian religion.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting you say that because even when they say Catholicism means universal, and Catholicism traces back to Babylon too, so it's like offshoots and of that. You know what I mean? And so that's okay. Continue. That's interesting. So all of them deities that you named, they're in that Hindu book. Uh,
Oh,
How do they learn about all of those different deities? Or
they're in
which ones to worship or whatever?
they're in the Vedas as well, but the
Mm-hmm.
Vedas are they're very extensive book, and a lot of the Vedic texts have been like either they're mistranslated, because when the British colonialism, when they came over, they took a lot of my people's Sanskrit books, and they they rewrote it, they retranslated it, and I think even and shout out to brother TCA, he brought out the fact that one of the nuclear scientists, Oppenheimer, was influenced by the Mahabharata.
Mm.
So he got, like, because there was like some information about nuclear technology.
Gotcha.
Um, but I'm just like going over what I found like from the Most High's word,
Yes, sir.
and trying to trace it from there, because that's a little bit easier to pick up and understand.
Amen. Yeah. Let's keep flowing.
All right. So the philosophy behind Hinduism. So I think I touched on this before, but Hinduism, they believe in a supreme god called Brahman. So Brahman initially manifests in three forms, which are basically the Trinity in Hinduism, which is Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. And then over a period of time, other gods were added as forms of Brahman. So there was the goddess worship of Kali, the monkey god Hanuman, the elephant god Ganesha. So I did pull out one Vedic verse, and that's from the Essentials of Hinduism. It's in Rigveda. So Rigveda is kind of like the book of Psalms. So the rishis would basically sing like slokas. They would sing hymns. They were trying to discover. When I first read part of it, they were trying to discover who is God. Like, is fire God? Is water God? Is like the wind God? Um, so then it was only until my awakening when I found about there was this God that wasn't really worshipped in Hinduism, and it was in Rigveda verse 10. It was talking about this God named Purusha, and this Purusha was supposed to be sacrificed by other gods. And that was odd to me, because a lot of these Hindu deities in the ancient world, not today, but in the ancient world, they would ask for people to sacrifice themselves to those deities, specifically Kali, or my ancestors would do like a penance, which is basically like a yoga meditation to try to get blessings from Shiva or Vishnu or even Brahma. But that's different from Yahushai, because Yahushai sacrificed himself
Amen.
for humanity. So, but yes, that was the one thing that was like basically that was strikingly peculiar to me. The Purusha basically sacrificing himself, and his flesh was being partaken by gods. Um, and it was a little god. So from what I understood, maybe that could have been talking about Yahushai and how his flesh was partaked by the disciples, because the disciples, when they went to Europe or when they went to India and other parts, people thought they were gods
Mm-hmm.
because of the Holy Spirit that was in them. Um, but that name over time has been, and I think, just from my observation, has been falsely attributed to Vishnu. Um, but that's what I got out of when I read like Rig Veda's verse 10, then I started looking, I started digging deep. Like, do Hindu priests confirm that like Jesus was written partially in the Vedas? And there were some Hindu priests that did acknowledge that Jesus was at least written in some form in the Vedas. But there's a big controversy of it. You know, some Hindus believe that it was the Christians that took I'm talking about Eurocentric Christianity, taking some of the Vedic texts and rewriting it and stuff like that.
Mm.
So that it's not clear cut, but the names is the names, we're going to find out today that the names, the definitions of these names like Brahman, Narayana, and the Sanskrit meaning of the names, we're going to see who is it's going to come up. I don't want to spoil it, but we're going to see who that's actually referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to just talk about, so basically the whole adherence of the Hindu faith, it's known as Sanatan Dharma. So dharma, according to Hinduism, means righteousness.
Mm.
The only difference with Hinduism is that dharma is really based on the context of the situation. It's not rooted in some kind of like specific laws like Torah. So that's the difference there. But dharma just means proper action. And then there's a belief in samsara, which is the cycle of rebirth, death, which is basically reincarnation.
Gotcha.
And so the difference with Hinduism is truth is not really the oneness, like with the oneness with Yahweh and the Most High, but truth is in diversity, in this interrelatedness. So that was a key point in the essential Hinduism.
Wow. So let me ask you this then. So and I don't want to go ahead when we're talking about the awakening and how you got into the awakening and know who the true and living Most High is. Does your family they all right with you knowing, or do they go back and forth with you? Do they do they shun you? You know, I mean, a lot of times we hear different stories when people come out of different religions and different things like that, philosophies. Then the family, the family be not tolerant towards that. You know, they be kind of shun you, if I should say that word. So is your family cool with you, or are they like, oh man, he done left the quote unquote faith?
So initially the first time this was 18, when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
So that was more Eurocentric Christianity. I just was curious about Christianity at the time, and went to I did go to like the Church of Highlands, but it was like I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't there wasn't really any there. The songs and praises were okay, but there was no teaching of the book
I got
or
you.
the Bible. And yeah, it was only that and it was in my undergrad years, but during that summer in India, I prayed, I prayed to no other gods but the Most High. And it was the Most High that told me to understand my culture before you read my book. And
okay. So how did you differentiate that? Because you named a lot of gods here, but how did you differentiate that you were talking to the Most High Himself, like Yahusha? How would you differentiate that?
At that time, at that time it was weird because I didn't even say the names of these deities. I didn't say Shiva or Rama or Krishna. I just said, God, please show me a way. I'm lost. I don't know who's really God and who's who's
Mm.
who. And that's when he was like, you understand your culture before, read my book. And then I stuck with Hinduism for a while. Um, I wasn't getting too deep involved with Hinduism at that time because I was studying through pharmacy, getting through pharmacy school, but it was just COVID-19 at that time. It was like I need to. It was like I need to get back into reading these ancient books,
Gotcha.
and that was in 2020. Um, and I started with the Vedas. I started with the Vedic text, and then there was Rigveda verse 10, and then and before I go into that, I do want to break down the books that are part of like Hinduism.
Okay.
So basically, there's the Vedic text, which basically you could say they're supposed to be like eternal truth. You could say it's like the quote unquote Torah of the Hinduism. So Rig Veda is like the Psalms. Um, then Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. Um, Atharva Veda, I've not really touched into that because that was actually written during the time of Egypt when Egyptian civilization started growing and prospering. And so what I read accounts that there's like some occultic stuff, so I didn't touch on that.
Okay.
I really just touched on Rig Veda out of all these books. Um, and then the stories. There's stories that show examples of faith. The Puranas, or in that context of faith, the Puranas, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, and then the
Mm.
Bhagavad Gita. And Yeah, these three books I haven't touched on, but yeah, most high willing, I hopefully will touch on these books. Because there's some things in there. I would say there's some sins in there that I have to repent from. Um,
Gotcha.
but the Puranas I touched on, and I touched on the part of the Puranas where it's talking about this man. It's a story. There was this Hindu king that met this man on a mountaintop, and in that story is the man his name was Isha Mashiach, like no joke, Isha Mashiach, and
Hmm.
he he was he was like talking with this Hindu king, and he was saying, and he did say like I was like the absolute truth, and that Isha it just sounds very familiar. And I was connecting it back to the scriptures, Hosea 4 and 6, where the Most High tells the children of Yasharel, don't call me Baali, call me Ishi. And
Hmm.
and that was the other scripture in the Vedas that really clicked. Like I guess my ancestors are supposed to be worshiping the Most High.
Hmm. Man, that's
So
interesting. That's very, very interesting right there, man. Okay.
so now we are moving into Brahman. So yeah, Brahman is interesting. So the Vedic text is kind of controversial because of the transliteration, the translation. But when I was looking into these words, Brahman, so in the Sanskrit, Brahman is defined as, in the Sanskrit, it is Satyam, Jananam, Anantam, Brahma, which can be translated as that which never changes, knowledge and infinity. And and I think it does connect with the Most High in Malachi 3:6. For I am Ahaya. or I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So, from what I got is, I I I felt that Brahman really represents the Most High, and yes, I did discover that my nation, or my part, or the Brahmin caste, along with the Kshatriyas and the warrior and the merchant class, are part of the nation of Elam. And we were supposed to be worshiping the Most High.
Yeah. So you don't believe that Brahman is a higher Elohim right now?
Wait. Well, wait, what were you saying?
I'm saying, like you said when you was reading the text, you was the way they describe Brahman. It's like, oh man,
Mhm.
that sounds like the Most High. So
Yeah.
I'm saying, do you believe that in your opinion that Brahman is referring to the Most High? Because a lot of times people say, you know what, you call him Yahweh, we call him Allah, you call him Brahman, and they say it's all of the same. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? But but
Mm.
but it's, I mean, it's so. Do you believe that it's the same?
I do believe that is the same. What I don't believe is, I don't think Brahman went into three forms, which was Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. I don't think that's the case. I think that Brahman is just that supreme God on his own. That's where I differ from Hinduism, because Hinduism is saying that Vishnu and Shiva and Brahma and Kali are all these different forms of Brahman, and and I don't perceive that to be the case at all.
Yeah. So okay, that's interesting. Food for thought, because you know how in the scriptures it say, uh, the enemy, Hasatan, try to be like the Most High,
Mm,
or he transform himself into an angel of light, and so sometimes he meet us where we're at. You know what I mean? And he try to manipulate and try to deceive us. I'm not saying that you're being deceived right now. I'm just saying it just, these are different things I'm thinking about. This is a good study. You know what I mean? But he tried to deceive us. So we got to have that ruach. You know what I mean?
yeah.
On the forefront, so he can show us and lead us and guide us. You know what I mean? To all truth. But that's interesting, brother. You can continue. Continue.
And I think I was going to touch on that. Maybe because there's so many different names, because going back to the Tower of Babel, the Most High confused all the languages, scattered all the people. So each person has like a different language
Yes.
today. But I guess the beauty is the Most High tried to reach each. Well, he first came to Yasharel first, but the word still got spread around to all the other nations through
Hmm.
the disciples. So
Yeah. Well, that was just one of the main things I was thinking. Yeah, I was just thinking out loud, man. We chatting, we
yeah.
chewing the fat. All right, continue, man. Continue.
All right. So Brahma is different from Brahman. So Brahma is allegedly in Hinduism is supposed to be like the creator god, but he's not really worshipped. He's really just, there's carvings of him, but he's really ignored. The two most popular deities are Shiva and Vishnu, and Brahma is very interesting. It's just what I found through Brahma. So Brahma has a wife named Saraswati, and I do believe there's some connection with Brahma and Abraham, that there was some kind of, like, either my ancestors were just worshiping, it was just pure ancestral worship, or it was just pure, like, kinfolk worship. But from what I found from Jasher was really interesting. So from Jasher 1237, Now Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire of Kasdim, and the king, princes, and inhabitants of the land, seeing that Abram was delivered from the fire, they came and bowed down to Abram. And Abram said to them, "Do not bow down to me, but bow down to the Elohim of the world, who made you, and serve him, and go in his ways. For it is he who delivered me from out of this fire, and it is he who created the souls and ruachot of all men, and formed man in his mother's womb, and brought him forth into the world. And it is he who delivered those who trust in him from all pain." So, I mean, I guess I would assume that my ancestors didn't get that memo. Um, didn't get the memo to not worship Abram, but that's where I see that bowing down to Abram, because he was being Abram was the context of the story was Abram was being tried by Nimrod because he didn't want to worship these idols. He basically destroyed his father's idols, and so Nimrod put him in the fire. And Abram, because of believing in the Most High protected him. But the people in Babylon at that time, they didn't really see the Most High. They saw Abram, surviving the power, and they thought Abram had these godlike abilities. So then they bowed down to him instead of the Most High. And another thing that was interesting from the book, is Essential Hinduism. Um, so yeah, they say Abram is supposed to be like the father. I mean, I guess Abram is the father of the Israelites because Abram, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah.
And then Brahma is kind of like the first created being. So how this works in essential Hinduism, it's weird. So Brahma is known as the creator god, but really Vishnu is at the forefront, being kind of this universal creator. And Brahma gets created, and Brahma starts creating like humanity, but Vishnu is supposed to be like the creator of like the whole like universe, allegedly, in Hinduism, which is very interesting. Another thing I want to touch on, how I thought that Brahma was kind of connected with like um Abraham, was that his consort was basically Saraswati. So that made me think of Sarah, Abraham, Sarah. And then the fact that what is interesting geography wise, the Saraswati, the river of Saraswati, um the tributary is known as Hagar or Gager. So that is very interesting. And
Right.
then another thing about yeah, so that were some of the interesting things that I found about Brahma and its connection with Abraham, and the fact that the Brahmins were supposed to be priests of Brahma, but in Indian culture now, no one worships Brahma. Again, it's all people worship either Shiva or Vishnu
Yeah.
or the other gods.
Those are the main ones. So Shiva is the god of destruction.
Yes.
Okay, you had a slide on about her.
Yep, that's coming up.
Okay.
Or that's well, actually no, that's towards the end.
Okay. But you got something about Vishnu.
I do. I do.
Okay. 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 I ain't gonna stop your flow, man. We
Yeah.
taking it all in. We trying to understand.
All right. So Vishnu is basically the god who brings like preservation, order. He's in the middle of the Trinity in Hinduism. Um, you know, what's interesting to note about Vishnu is his name is Saptagiri. So Saptagiri is a hill, is also known as Tirumala Hill, and there's basically 7 peaks of this hill: Sheshadri, Niladri, Anjanadri, Virushbadri, Narayanadri, and Venkatadri. Um, this I'm gonna touch on this. That this I used to think this was mythology, that Vishnu came down to earth to meet my ancestors in Tirumala Hill, but just digging deeper, that doesn't seem to be the case. Now, the name Saptagiri is very interesting, and Sapta, just connecting that with the scriptures. In Sefer says Kapta, but it's really Sapta.
Okay.
And so I found out from Genesis 10:7 that he might have been the son of Cush. And the sons of Cush were Seva, Havila, Sabta, Rama, Sabteka, and the sons of Rama are Sheva and Dedan. And another thing to note about Vishnu is so the vehicle that he rides in, so he rides on an eagle/human hybrid named Garuda, and his
So he
resting.
flies on an eagle human.
Yes,
Okay, I got you.
yes, and his main abode is Vaikunta. So Tirumala Hill is basically where he comes to meet all the my basically my ancestors. Um, he rests on a 7-headed serpent named Adi Shisha.
Wow.
So Shisha, that's, I don't know. That's an observation that just reminds me of Shemiyaza,
Some Yasa and Book of Enoch.
Book of Enoch.
Mhm. So before you go on, Shauna Shade say, so wait, are the other gods? So wait, are these other gods Brahma at the same time, or are they completely separate? They're completely separate, Shauna. Right? Correct?
Right. So okay. So I wanted to touch on that. So Brahman and Brahma are different. I think that's the thing. So Brahman is supposed to be the supreme being, and Brahman, actually, sorry, I take that back. Vishnu wasn't the one that created the universe. So Brahman basically created the universe. Brahman manifest in according to Hinduism, manifested in these forms: Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and so forth. Vishnu is definitely not Brahma. Vishnu is the god that just brings preservation and order. Brahma is supposed to be like the creation of human beings. And then Brahman, according to Hinduism, is supposed to be the creator of everything, the foundations
Got
of the universe. So hopefully that clears it up.
you. Got you. Okay. So Vishnu is like the guy that brings one of the main deities that brings order and preservation in the Hinduism.
Yes. So whenever chaos happens, he comes in to bring stability,
Mm.
basically in the Hindu text.
Okay.
So yeah, this is very interesting. I guess the video cannot play, I guess. But yeah, this is what I found, which was really it really shocked me because I knew that some of these names of Vishnu really didn't represent Vishnu. and we're going to touch on that Narayana, where Ya is actually in the name Narayana. I really don't think that really represented Vishnu at all. But the followers of Vishnu, which the worship of Vishnu is known as Vaishnavism. And that's just a name that they named for themselves. Anything with the V, Venkata, Vaishnavism, is associated with Vishnu. With Shiva, anything with an SH, Shaivism, Shankar, even a CH, Chandra, it's also associated with Shiva.
Gotcha.
And then with so this one, this was the petrified structure that I was talking about. This so there's controversy. Some scientists say that it's not petrified, but some people say it was carved by the local people. But just looking at it, it doesn't look like someone really carved this thing, unless they wanted to get some kind of injury or something. Like this looks really like perfect. Like it really does. To me, it looks like a petrified structure. And it kind of shows that maybe this mythology is not really mythology. Maybe Vishnu actually did visit Tirumala, that area.
Gotcha.
All right. So Narayana. So this is a name that really led to my awakening. When I found out about Narayana, and so in Sanskrit, Nara means waters. Ayana means resting or residence. So it's translated as the one who rests on the waters. And even Narayana, the word has Ya in it. And so that's where it connected me back to Psalms 18:11, talking about the Most High. He made darkness his secret place. His Sukkoth round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Now, just today I had and another idea popped up that Vishnu could have been resting on the waters, but it's the waters below the firmament. And what gave me clues to that was the conch shell that he's so the conch is a symbolism of Vishnu. One of the transformations of Vishnu is he turns into a fish, which is known as Matsya. And the fact that he's laying on a serpent known as Adi Shisha kind of tells me that his abode, or where he lives, or his residence, is the waters below the firmament. But just that name Narayana just is very intriguing to me. The fact that it has Ya in that word kind of drew me to this awakening, kind of connected me to the Most High.
So when you was in college, you seen this about Narayana. It don't have a Y-A-H, but it got a Yana, Y-A-N-A. And so it connects you to the Most High.
Not in college. It was back during the pandemic.
Oh, 20. Oh, you said 2020. Okay.
2020.
I got you. I'm tracking with you. Okay. All right.
So so this video, so a lot of these videos I'm posting, you can check this guy's channel out. His name is Praveen Mohan, and shout out to brother Big Red, because he did touch on, like, or he mentioned his name a little bit. Like he kind Praveen Mohan, he kind of shows like a lot of this ancient, or ancient technology that my ancestors uh, built or created. So this is in Tirumala Hill, and this is supposed to be like basically like a portal. And a lot of these Hindu deities, like for example, particularly Vishnu and Shiva, there's a ring that's around them, and that ring is like a portal, basically. So this allegedly is like an ancient, or they say is an ancient Stargate. Um, and the weird thing is there's a 8 feet fence around this like structure, and geologists have said that this is not really a normal structure, and people have gone in with their cell phones and have had like bad like reactions because it actually does emit EMFs at certain periods, which is weird. It's a rock formation, but how can it emit EMFs? Um, and there's a story that one guy just collapsed, and he had a pacemaker, and his pacemaker wasn't working. So they don't let anyone go to this site. You can only take a picture outside of the gates.
So that's what I was saying. Even not to go ahead with the with Shiva and CERN,
Yeah.
and this picture right here of Shiva on the outside of CERN in Switzerland, and she is in the portal, right? And they're trying to shoot these particles. And I know you know about the whole CERN thing. And I don't want to go ahead, but yeah, sometimes they're trying to understand this dark matter and open up portals and all these different things like that. What are you saying about this ancient portal right here about this ancient Stargate?
So this one, it's basically what I'm seeing is that this Vishnu coming and meeting in Tirumala is not really a myth. To me, it's not. It's that Vishnu. This is the portal that Vishnu is using to come to Tirumala to either grant boons or blessings to the inhabitants of that land. And and again, like not just Shiva, but Vishnu also has that portal surrounding his statue, but it's more like an arch. I don't Let me see if I can pull it up.
Ernest West, you said Shiva is a male entity. Are you asking the question? Or are you making a statement? Shiva is a male entity. Or are you talking about Shiva? Shiva. Ernest.
Yeah, yes. Shiva is a male Shiva is a male entity, Vishnu is a male entity. The only deity that I'm touching on that's a female entity is Kali.
Oh, so that picture that I had shown, this right here, that's a male right there.
That is a male.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought that was a female. I thought Shiva was a female entity.
No, he's just very lean and skinny, but that's a male entity.
I got you. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
All right.
Shiva. I
So,
got you, Charles.
all right. So now we're going to touch on the female entity, or the the calling the or calls herself goddess. So, and she is the wife of Shiva. Her other names are Mahishmati. Um, so it's interesting with her. So Parvati can shapeshift to Kali when there's trouble, when there's these so in Hindu mythology there's these demons that are known as Asuras. And so Parvati basically transforms into Kali to fight these like demons. But the the thing with Kali is, in a lot of the Hindu texts, is she gets out of control and she can't control her rage. And so Shiva has to calm her down. and how he calms her down is he allows her to have, basically allows her feet to be placed on his chest. And so then, she recognizes that's her husband, and then she transforms back into Parvati.
So that's probably what it got the Incredible Hulk then, when the Incredible Hulk is enraged.
Yeah.
And then he need what's her name? Scarlett Johansson got to calm him down and all that.
Yeah.
I know that ain't true, but I'm just saying I that's interesting you said that, because even right now a lot of they have good evil and evil. And what I mean by that is they have like a good witch and a bad witch, or a sorcerer fighting a wizard. So a sorcerer fighting a witch. So the wizard, I'm sorry, so the wizard's supposed to be good fighting a bad witch. The wizard's supposed to be good, like in what's the name of that new movie? Doctor Strange. I know these are all movies, but I'm saying the movies that's coming out now, Doctor Strange, he deal with the occult and all of that, right? But he's fighting against a witch, so that makes him the good guy. And they Hollywood flips it like that. You know what I mean? So it's very, very interesting that comes out. A good witch, bad witch, a good wizard fighting a bad witch, and different things like that. This made me think about that. Different things that I'm thinking about when you talk about. You said this person transformed, right?
Yes.
And then came back to fight. So explain again what you were saying as far as with Kali.
So Kali basically so that is kind of like what you're touching on. So that the deities and then the devas are supposed to be on the alleged good side. The Asuras are the more bad
Gotcha.
evil. But the thing with Hinduism is, like, even the Asuras, the 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 gods also help them too, as well. They can also receive boons and blessings and those type of things. But yeah, so Kali basically, so whenever there's demons causing chaos, Kali basically, or Parvati turns into Kali, becomes this goddess of destruction and of death, and starts slaying all these demons. But then she gets out of control to the point where she might start attacking the devas. So then Shiva comes in to calm her down.
I got you. Okay, so let's get on Shiva, and then I want to talk about how did you what was the main point of the awakening? You know what I mean? Or to be honest, do you still go back? Do you still struggle? Do you consider yourself to be struggle with because this, if you keep saying the ancestors, and it's cultural, like it's a lot of cultural different things going on, and so sometimes we might. I'm not saying you. I'm just saying this in general. We might struggle and wrestle with a thing like, man, you know what I mean? As opposed to getting totally delivered in certain things. Like sometimes, like even our ancestors, when we came over here, uh, down in New Orleans and different things like that, we deal with a lot of voodoo and hoodoo. Not all of us. I said we, but then when people get saved and come into the knowledge of Yahusha and get filled with the Ruach, they still struggle because that power was powerful. You know what I'm saying? Burying bones in the front yard, or got the little black box on the wall, or whatever things that they did before they came into the knowledge of Yahusha. They want to be like, okay, I want Yahusha, but I'm bringing this with it. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times it's a struggle. So when he say like surrender all and just be clean and give it all to me, like it's all or nothing. It's me. You know what I mean? God, y'all plus nothing is everything. So it's like, wow, that equation is amazing. Y'all plus nothing is everything. And so we don't want to have no crutches. And I'm not saying you having a crutch. It just you getting this conversation sparked because of what we're talking about right now. So Yah plus nothing is everything, and that's what we're trying to get to back to the brass tacks of. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we all struggle with stuff, man. We all struggle with stuff, and it's very, very interesting. And even right now, a lot of the New Age thought is it's subtle, and it's like right there. It's parallel. It looks just like it. It sounds like it, but but it is it truly it? Some things were hidden, maps, books, different things, and other things. It's like, man, Most High, are you in this? That's what we got to pretty much ask ourselves, and not just this, because this is, I mean, but I'm just saying in general. Most High, are you in this? You get what I'm saying? So, okay,
Yeah.
you can continue, man. This is good, man. But we get to Shiva, and then I want to hear about your awakening. How did you come into the knowledge of Yah?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I want to touch on a little bit. It's not the idols
Mm-hmm.
are not too much of a struggle, and this goes back to my childhood because I used to do I used to like Play-Doh, so I would make all these like deities with Play-Doh, and I think the and it's some kind of idea. I think the Most High was trying to show me that these things can be made by your hands
Hmm.
when I was a little kid. And the Most High does touch on these, these like when he talks about the idols in Isaiah, that these idols are made by men's hands. Just
Hmm.
paraphrasing it, but it just dawned on me that maybe the Most High was working on me even before college, even
Wow.
before this 2020, just showing me these baby steps, just me as a kid playing with this Play-Doh and designing these deities and my mom thought it was really good too. Like, and she would put all these deities like as part of like worship because I was I was sculpting them really good with
Right.
Play-Doh. But I think the Most High was even showing me, or at least felt the Most High was showing me even back then. And just knowing the history and then this revelation of Vishnu possibly being a petrified structure, it clearly solidified that I believe in the Most High, and he's the only God. Uh,
Yeah.
yes, these people had powers, but they don't have the power of that mouth, that power of the tongue to create life, to take away life.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
Most High, oh
Go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the Most High doesn't have to show his power through works. It's through the mouth,
Hmm.
the word. So
Yeah. Life and death is in the power of tongue. And even I thought about Peter and Paul, and they were trying to get they would try to get worship too, and it's like, oh no, don't worship us. We are messengers of the Most High. You know what I mean? That tells you the difference between pride and ego, and it's a humble servant of the Most High, yeah. Because a prideful person will take worship, and even today, I mean, a lot of people don't even operate out of power; they just operate out of charisma and the gift of gab, and they can say some slick words, and then they think they all that. It's like you ain't even operating out of power yet. You know what I'm saying? But then some people do operate out of power. So those who are in uh, black magic, uh, witchcraft, sorcery, that have actually entertained and dabble with spirits, you got to have a real ruach. Like you
yeah,
can't come with no gift of gab with these folk because they already dabbled in the power. Like those, like certain witch doctors and different things like that. You got to have the real ruach. And I remember reading a book about Ruth Brown, and you got to put up or shut up. You got to have the real power of the ruach hakodesh. You got to be filled with the ruach. You got to have the blood covering you, and then you can deal with it. You know what I mean? And be clothed and in your right mind to deal with a lot of those different things. Because if not, then if the ones who are patty caking and playing, okay, you can say something good, put on the suit, say some slick words, you know. And then you can, but those who really been dabbling in the darkness and power, it is you got to come
Mm.
with it. And so that's why we got to be filled with the ruach, and we got to crucify that flesh. He said, "Take up that cross and follow me daily." The crucifying of that flesh is to kill that pride that wants to rise up. It's a battle. It's a tug of war. The pride the flesh wants to lead, but then the ruach wants to lead. You know, the ruach wants to lead. He wants us to follow him, but the flesh wants to lead. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so, amen. But I mean, turn it into a Bible study. But it's always gonna be a Bible study when we get in here,
Yeah.
man. But go
Yeah.
ahead, man. Let's
Uh,
talk about the Shiva or whatever you have to say about that.
one thing I want to touch on before Shiva, though, but
Okay.
these are some interesting scriptures. So from the book of Adam and Eve,
Mm-hmm.
um, it talked about how Satan can transform into a woman, and how Satan transformed into a woman, tempting Adam, and and this is just my speculation, but this probably did happen with the descendants of Cush, that there was always this link with with Vishnu and the seven-headed serpent Adi Shisha, like just reminding me, just I just feel that that's connecting back to Shemiyaza, and then the Kali, apparently. So for human sacrifice, um it's known as Bali. So Baali, Bali. So I mean, and Satan can transform into a woman. So
Mm-hmm.
so there might have been this mixing of, again, this fallen angel DNA with the sons of Cush post flood.
Mm.
Um, that's just an observation. Um, but
Yeah, that absolutely. Think about the Baphomet.
mhm,
Think about the Baphomet. Think about the confusion with the genders even right now. The confusion. You know what I mean? And going on, and the gender and the transgender and this, that, and the other. And so, yeah, you're right. I'm tracking with you when you're talking about that, because if he can transform into an angel of light, he can transform a man into a woman into a man. And Yah said, "I'm not the author of confusion." You know what I mean?
mm,
He gives it to us. He let us know exactly what's going on with it. You know, but in this cylinder called time, we are creatures of choice. And so he said, "Look, I want you to choose life. I want you to choose me. It's an open book test. I give you my book. I give you my ruach, right? You're in it, but not of it. Uh, go tell others about me before I come." And so it's like, whoa, okay, praise you most high. You know what I mean? Tell them not just about my wrath and judgment and all that, but my love, my tell them that I stand alone, that I don't share. That y'all is selfish, if I should say it like that without disrespect. He don't share with nobody.
mhm,
The
yeah.
Most High does not share. And I had an interesting. I have an email about that guy was like, "Oh yeah, this, that, and other, and we need to coexist." And y'all does not coexist. As much as we would like him to, he just don't. It's like you having a wife or whatever, man having a wife, and then that wife come home and she got all these other men or whatever, and it's like, no, I need to be the only man. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
He doesn't share, especially when he breathed the uh, the breath of life into us, and we are Mago Day, made in His image and His likeness. Genesis 1:26-27, and then to go worship something contrary and to say, look, I had no stake in creating you, but I want you to come follow me. It's kind of a mix up. But anyway, I mean,
yeah.
go ahead, finish, man. Turn it
Um,
into a Bible study.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was gonna touch on that. I mean, because it to me, it doesn't really, like, I've been told, many times, like, by my parents, and then from other people, that there's many paths to God, but that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, the Most High, when I read the scriptures and when I compare to Hindu mythology, he's different from these
Mm,
other like deities. Like, he's different from these other beings that have powers.
wow.
Like it just doesn't it didn't add up to me. And then this Isaiah scripture is really interesting because it also reflects on Kali, like so the Most High is saying, "Against whom do you sport yourselves? Against whom make ye a wide mouth, and draw out the tongue? And are ye not the children of transgression, a seed of falsehood, inflaming yourselves with idols under every green tree, slaying the children in the valleys under the cliffs of the rocks, drawing out the tongue?" So that's a trait that Kali, um, she sticks out the tongue. You see that a lot with some of these Hollywood celebrities, and they're sticking out the tongue. So they know about this worship of Kali. Um, and Kali is worshipped under a banyan tree. Yeah, this video is not working, but this lady here, she's basically worshiping this goddess under a banyan tree. So this, what the Most High is talking about, these practices still happen today.
Wow.
In India.
It's interesting. When's the last time you've been over that way?
2014.
Okay. Gotcha.
I do want to touch on the before Shiva. I want to make
Okay.
Shiva like the finale, but so there's two other deities. Hanuman is very popular. So he's this monkey god that is worshipped in India.
Now, I never heard of this. I never heard of this deity at all. Interesting.
It's very interesting. And we will play this clip on the next slide. That was another part of my awakening too. So this monkey god, he's worshipped in India. He's got godlike powers of strength. So he's part of this race known as the Varnas. So they're basically human monkey hybrid, basically. Not just Hanuman, but there's another monkey human hybrid called Sugriva. And Hanuman, he's also known, his other name is Anjaneya as well. So this is the story with Hanuman. So again, this Nephilim kind of marriage union that happened post flood. This is after like the Tower of Babel. So Kesari is like the king of the Varnas, monkey human hybrids. He marries a human woman, an Anjali. They didn't have a child for many years. So she does like some penance on a hill for several years. And this wind god named Vayu allows her to bear fruit, allows her to bear Hanuman. And so that's how Hanuman got born. This Varna race is also connected with the book of Jasher. So there was these people in Babylon that wanted to place idols in the Most High's throne. And the Most High turned them into elephants and monkeys.
Wow.
So they were one of the divisions in Babylon that fought against the Most High. And that's in Jasher 9:35.
Wow. Interesting.
And let's see this. If you want, we could see this video. But this is very interesting. What in Black Panther M'Baku says when he's about to fight T'Challa, and he does say "Glory to Hanuman," basically. And I was like, wow, where did that come from?
Did he play? Can you play that video or no?
I can't play it on the slide.
See, now I'm gonna go back and see. I'm gonna go back and watch it and see. That's interesting. So, what did he say instead of Hanuman, or did he actually say Hanuman?
No, he actually did say Hanuman.
Oh, really? Oh, see, a lot of stuff going on we don't even be knowing in the movies. That's why, I ain't gonna say my friend that's a witch, but I know a person that's a witch, and when they watch a lot of the different movies and stuff, they're like, oh man, you know what I mean? The accuracy, the things that's going on in Hollywood, the accuracy in it is just so amazing. Even the music that we listen to, they one album, I forgot the name of it. I want to say Bone Thugs, but they had the words backwards, and you're supposed to show them, read it in a mirror or something, and that's we know that life and death is in the power of the tongue. But I'm saying, ignorance is not bliss. When we're not
Yeah.
aware of certain things still, it still could be activated. You know what I mean? And so that's interesting. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
I so I don't know if we can play this video.
Let me say this: fair use. I don't know how
Please.
everybody, Brother Ron with True Fun edited, and everybody better play these little videos, and then sometimes I get hit up. So I don't know. I'm gonna do what Sister Shine to say fair use before I play.
Yeah.
Fair use. I don't even know if that you can do it, but go ahead. Okay, fair use. All right, play it now. I'll try to play it.
No, it's not playing.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Well, I'm gonna check that Black Panther out again and see and listen out for the word Hanuman. That's interesting. But you know what? Even the tribe that he was, it was like a guerrilla tribe
Yeah.
in the movie, a guerrilla based tribe. So I can see how they would worship a guerrilla deity, guerrilla
Yeah.
deities or something like that. That's interesting. All right.
Yep. And then I think that's what really dawned on me, like maybe this Hinduism came from Africa and maybe it migrated over to India. That's what really that was also part of my awakening, because like I that just like baffled how Mumbaku was talking about, like the guy who played Mumbaku was talking about Hanuman. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah. Um and before we go in, so we do know like the Black Panther, that is really ancient Kush, ancient Kemetic worship, because they're like connecting with the ancestors.
Yeah.
Um but I think they were trying to market it to the nation of Israel, Yasharel.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yes, so this is again, this is from Praveen Mohan channel. Um yeah, I can't play it, but you can check his channel out. But allegedly there was a giant skeleton.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh.
I was trying to scroll back when I made a mistake and hit the button. But no, but Brother Carriage is basically saying this is why we can't repeat phrases in movies. Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah.
Even my kids, they watching. They don't like to watch Japan anime or anime with me because the accuracy of a lot of that stuff and ley lines and opening up portals, and I'm like, whoa! It'd be like so. It's like it's a gateway into the occult, into black magic and the arts.
Mm.
And it just be like, oh, it's just a show. I like the show, I'm just gonna watch it. And then, it can open up, that's why we gotta educate ourselves and then ask the most high, what's cool and what's not cool. And the Black Panther movie in our community was very, very styled and very, very I know people that seen this 6-7 times, dress up to it. And it was like, because we didn't really have a lot of superheroes on there. We might have one black superhero. It might be a superhero team, and then one black person on the team, and his strength and his superpowers is angry. You know what I'm saying? Luke Cage, I'm mad. You know what I mean? Dang, that's the powers I got. I'm the mad dude. But anyway, so to see that Black Panther, that's why we rallied around it like that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
she said Japan anime. Yeah, I always say Japan anime, brother, but it's anime. But they be like, that's why we can't sit and watch it with you. But you be sitting there, man. What's that? Full Metal Alchemist, alchemy. But it's a very interesting story. the Full Metal Alchemy. We don't want to go into that. Their mom had died or something. They was trying to bring her back, so they had tried to open up this portal, and some came through it that they didn't want to come through it, and so they got these partial powers, and but it also messed up. It's just crazy, man. When you watch a lot of that stuff, it just be so
Yeah.
telling the truth, man. On that, blessed to Teo Ministries. Yeah, Africa controlled India at one time. Yeah, so
Yeah.
like Catholicism is like all roads lead to it's universal. But if Mesopotamia and that whole area was Africa, a lot of the deities and a lot of the different things came after after Babylon and stuff came from Africa, from that area. You know what
Mm.
I mean? And so the Most High's people was like, look, don't do what the surrounding people do, the Hittites and Jebusites and all these different people do, because I'm your Elohim. Don't follow Dagon, don't follow Baal, don't follow these different deities or whatever. And so we'll get in trouble every time we start worshiping and doing things contrary to what we're supposed to have been doing. Yeah, anime
Yeah.
has a lot of accuracy, very scary. Yeah. I'm just sitting there trying to watch it, trying to build my key. I'm like, let me check it out. First, I don't know what's going on. Then I'll be like, ooh, wow.
Mm.
It's the accuracy in what they're doing is crazy. But anyway, I ain't mean to cut you off, brother, because we're trying to get to the young
Yeah.
Vishnu in a second.
So yeah, so this so apparently this is this may be factual, maybe anecdotal, but again from the Indian guy's channel. So basically there was a giant skeleton, a giant ape-like human, possible remains of Hanuman. And so there was
Hmm.
like reports from like the English colonialism days that were reporting that there was this was the remains of a giant ape
Hmm.
like hybrid in north central India. Um, so it could be the possible remains of Hanuman, maybe.
You heard about the Nephilim too, right? The giants, the Nephilim.
Yes,
Yeah, the Nephilim in the
yes,
earth. Yeah. Okay.
yes. He says it on his video like Hanuman could be part of that Nephilim
Gotcha.
bloodline.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
So
Interesting.
So this is a bit about Ganesha. So Ganesha again, that origin comes from like the book of Jasher, one of the um one of the divisions that again wanted to put the idols in the Shemaim in heaven, and the Most High turned those people into elephants and apes. So Jasher 935, and then so the elephant god. So basically, he's popular among a lot of Hindu people, people who follow Hinduism. He's supposed to remove obstacles, basically.
Hmm.
And then Ganesha was also created, uh, according to Indian story. He was created by Parvati from like the dust, but and that didn't sit right with me because when reading the scripture, the Most High created the human beings from the dust of the ground, the first human beings, Adam and Eve. Um, so it's interesting that you when you see in these stories how the fallen angels, they had that presence, and they were trying to show in those stories they wanted to be like the Most High.
Wow.
Um, and I wish I'd put this story, and this is about Vishnu, and it's something to deal with this story about. So there's another snake, like it's another snake called Kalinga,
Oh, it's
and
always a serpent. All
yes,
it seems like all history they got some kind of serpent in there. But go ahead.
it is interesting because in the book of Adam and Eve, when I was reading the book of Adam and Eve, or parts of it, the Most High cast the serpent to India. There's a verse there. I can't remember it on the top of my head, but it's in the book of Adam and Eve. Um, but there was this like verse that Vishnu said, and he was basically, I can make a truth into a lie or something like that. And I was like, what? Like, no, and I was like, no, you can't be the supreme being then, because the Most High never lies, and that also, like, that was just like a cornerstone to me, showing me that, this Vishnu cannot be this supreme being that is revered in Hinduism.
Hey, so this one thing, shout out to Teo Ministries. Teo said, do you know any connection between Hinduism and Buddhism? Is there a connection? Is there a link, between Hindu gods and Buddhism?
Okay, so Buddhism is interesting. So Buddhism so Buddha was actually a Indian prince.
Oh.
And he wanted to, he formed Buddhism, but he wanted it, and in Buddhism, he got rid of his wealth, he got rid of his caste title as Kshatriya. He wanted to be away. Buddhism is away from the caste system. It was a way to try to get, I guess, so people that followed Buddhism away from that caste system, and to make it a more monotheistic, but it was still idolatry, because they ended up still worshiping, his name was Siddhartha. They still ended
I
up
heard that
worshiping
name.
Siddhartha, because of the knowledge and the wisdom that he spoke. And then it is the same thing with later on in the 15th century. There was people in Indian people in Punjab that moved away from Hinduism, from the restrictions of caste system, and they formed Sikhism.
The Sikhs.
And that was at the time of like warring with the Mughals. And the Mughals are interesting. Shout out to brother TCA for touching on the Canaanites, but the Mughals are a mixed Canaanite bloodline. So the Canaanites had their presence in India as well, in North India, not in South India, but in North India.
So is it a nice population of Buddhists in India as well, right? So you got some people practicing Hinduism, and then you got some people practicing Buddhism. Because I thought Buddhism was predominantly in Tibet and China, but I guess so. You got a nice population of Buddhists in India too, right? You think so?
Yes, in the eastern portion of India, and the eastern portion is closer to China. It's closer to Nepal. So that's where you're gonna see more Buddhism.
I got you. All right. Man, you he holding on to Shiva. He don't want to talk about Shiva.
All right.
I want to know why Shiva is dancing in a portal outside of CERN.
All right.
If it's the goddess of destruction, and they dedicated it, and people started raising questions like, "Hey, why you got the goddess of destruction on the outside of the CERN headquarters?" They say it was a gift from India. Leave us alone. So,
okay,
it came from India, right? There was a gift from India. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yes. They found it buried somewhere, but they found this statue like buried somewhere. They gave it. I don't remember the exact location, but then
wait a minute. They dug it up and then gave it to the people in Switzerland in front of CERN.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought they made it like they did the Statue of Liberty. Okay. I didn't know that they dug it up and gave it. That's.
I may have to. Yeah, I may have.
No, I believe you. I'm just saying. I didn't know
that.
Man.
So these two are interesting too.
Okay.
Before Shiva. So
before Shiva.
So
he got to go to.
So Rama or Rama. So according to the Hindu stories, he's supposed to be like the seventh avatar of Vishnu. Um, but I suspect he could be a real person. And then the website, I think Ancient Origins, they kind of touched on that Rama could have been a real person. And from the scriptures, Genesis 10 and 7, the sons of Cush. So Rama, he's right there.
Mm.
And Rama is interesting. So in the Sanskrit, it actually means in one context found in the fourth book in Atharva Veda. Um, and this was some British guy, but he basically translated it. It meant dark colored, black.
Hmm.
And there was a former cabinet member in the state of Gujarat that said, we worship black gods. He just came out and said it, and he caused so much controversy, and they were saying, oh, he's racist, he's this, he's that. But that kind of also triggered my awakening too. So maybe there's some connection with India and Africa.
Yeah. You keep mentioning a lot of Babel and mention a lot of Kush a lot, so I know it's some kind of together. But so listen. So as far as you was talking about, they got offended when you said we worship black gods, right?
Mhm.
Um, the Most High is described as a sardis stone. We're not gonna go there right now. But you was talking about the caste system? So do they have like caste of like racism as far as color? Like you guys are the Hindus are. I'm sorry, the Indian people are like Puerto Ricans. You could
Mhm.
be real light, past a white person, or darker than a brother. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
is it this like okay, the light skin or the bright? And I'm not trying to offend. I really want to know this. The light skin or the white or the bright Indian people gets more love than the darker shaded Indian people. Or it's not like how it is in America.
So so before English colonialism, it used to be just strictly caste system. It had nothing to do with color. It
Okay.
was looking at based on your birth. But people would
Uh
still look down upon you because people would still ask, "Oh, what caste are you from? Are you
mm,
from this caste?" But they would still look down upon you.
got you.
The South Indians generally are more melanated across the board, whether they're from the Brahmin caste down to the Sudra and Dalit caste. Um, in South India, it's hot. It's more close to the equator. Um, but North India, through all the mixing of the bloodlines, the Mughals, then the Greeks came in. That's why you see a lot of the people over there are more fair
Yeah.
skinned.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, okay. Okay. I didn't want to get you thrown off by that question, but you said caste system, and you said, we worship black gods, and people went crazy and got offended. Um, so that's the reason I asked that question. So, all right. Now is the Shiva time or no?
Uh, and then yeah. So then another scripture I wanted to point out though.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Uh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Rama's kingdom as Ayodhya. So that reminded me of Akkadiya in the book of Jasher 11:4. So there was another city um, that was created in Babel as well. And then the bridge, the Ramu Setu bridge that is under the water that
Mm-hmm.
connects from India all the way to Sri Lanka. Archaeologists have found that there are still remains of that bridge. So
Mm,
that's like a cornerstone that's saying that Rama might be a real person.
mm.
And may not be the avatar of Vishnu.
Yeah, I've been thinking. I got to read that Enoch again. Different watchers, fallen angels are chained up and lock this one up until under the river Euphrates, uh, and then, until such and such time and dry up and all that. So it's very interesting that you said that. But do you parallel any of these gods to those fallen angels or the Watchers in Book of Enoch?
No, I do. I don't. Some of these gods, like I said, I think they were the sons of Cush, but they were influenced by these fallen angels,
I
or
got you.
they mixed their bloodline with the fallen angels post flood.
Hmm.
I think Kali might have been a fallen angel,
Yeah.
and the seven-headed serpent Adi Shisha might have been a fallen angel.
Gotcha. Okay. I get it. And a lot of people got the different stories, and even the different history books or whatever, because every nation records their history, or every nation records the things that happen, and to their civilization, and a lot of them parallel with the flood, a lot of them parallel with a lot of these different things. You know what I mean? And gods and superhumans, and a lot of them parallel, but they're just from different backgrounds and different nations and different time periods. It's very interesting, though. Okay.
All right. So next, so this is a guy, Praveen Mohan. He shows like a lot of this technology in India. So Rama apparently had a bow, that's ancient or allegedly ancient technology. It's kind of like the bows with these wheels at the end with the string. It's like a can't trying to think on top of my head, like a pullback, a recoil kind of bow. But with Rama's bow, it actually has like gear, or at least from the temple, it was showing that it could be gears at the ends of the bow, because they say that Rama never misses a shot when he shoots his arrows. So, or he never misses his target. So that's something interesting. We're moving on. So Krishna is the other one. Krishna, they say he was the 8th avatar or reincarnation, the 8th reincarnation of Vishnu. But from what I was looking into, Krishna also means black in Sanskrit.
Really?
And then I was looking into, this was a blog, but they were saying, when you break it down, comes from Krishna. So Krush had to be like a descendant of Kush again.
We stand with the Kushites, man. We stand with the Kush.
Yeah. And then the whole Shiva, that reminds me. So Krishna's other name is Keshava. So that reminds me of that name, Shiva, Sheva. And then this city, he's well known as Eric. So what I found about Eric was very interesting. From the Bible Encyclopedia, one of the most oldest or largest important cities of Sumer. And that site is located in Dwarka. And then Dwarka reminds me of Krishna's kingdom is called Dwarka. And archaeologists, they've said that his kingdom could be under the Indian Ocean. And
Marine Kingdom, huh?
Yes. And then Vishnu is also tied with that marine kingdom. So
wow. I'm getting my charger. I'm sorry, I want my computer to go out. There you go.
So this is this BBC video that they were talking about searching for the sunken kingdom of Dwarka. Because it was interesting. Some Indians believe that Krishna is like Jesus Christ, but this kind of debunks that. This sunken kingdom of Dwarka.
I think I might have seen a picture of Krishna. He looked like the Caesar Borgia Jesus, Yahusha. So I really think the Antichrist might look more like that, because we having that same image, to get our minds ready for the return of because everybody's waiting for a return
Mm.
or either a return or a first touching down of some kind of Mashiach. You know what I mean? We waiting for Yahushua to come back, set up his kingdom, millennial reign, the whole nine. Other people, the Muslims, are waiting for somebody put in the chat. Forgot his name. Supposed to be coming in on a horse. Ah,
Uh, Imam Mahdi,
yeah,
I think.
yeah. They're waiting on him. And
Uh,
then a lot of the Hindus are waiting on Krishna, right? To return.
not exactly. So
Okay.
they're waiting on Kalki.
Oh, they're waiting on Koki.
Kalki is the
Koki the
last.
serpent, right?
No, that's Kalinga. So
Okay.
Kalki is like allegedly the last reincarnation of Vishnu,
Oh, I got you.
because the whole reincarnation thing. But but the Krishna thing, I can kind of see it, except for Krishna is more melanated because you could see the blue skin, and the fact that the definition of Krishna in Sanskrit is like, it does mean black, and he's depicted as such. He's depicted with blue skin. The only way to have blue skin is to have a lot of melanin. So
Hmm. Like the Avatar's the movie.
yeah.
When I see the Avatar's the movie, I think about the Hindu deities and stuff. And I'll be like, man, they got blue people. Is Krishna the feminine deity with 8 arms? Yeah, oh, Miss Brit. That's what Brittany asked. Is
No,
that
that's a Kali.
That's Kali. Okay. All right. You got
So
you ready to
the
rock and roll with the Shiva?
so the last slide, yes, is Shiva,
Okay.
the god, the god of destruction and the god of chaos. Um,
The god of destruction and the god of chaos.
yeah.
Abaddon, Apollyon, Apollyon. Go ahead, bro.
Yes. So
Let
another
us.
name for Shiva is so the statue in CERN, it's Nataraja. So he's also the god of dance as well, and
Okay.
he formed, or he's the pioneer of this ancient dance. It's called Bharatanatyam, and they have like different hand gestures. They um and different symbols to convey different characters. Bharatanatyam, it's a very it's a very stiff kind of dance movement where the dancer has to like bend their legs all the time while they're dancing.
Oh, like making a TikTok video. No,
Uh
I'm just playing. Just go ahead. Go
Not
ahead. Go ahead.
exactly.
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead. Go
not
ahead.
no,
Gotcha. I
not
got you.
that.
No, go ahead.
Um so yeah, Shiva is the husband of Parvati, Kali. He's also known as the god of the moon, known as Chandra as well. And you could see from the beginning of the slides, he kind of has those, or he kind of has those locks, like those, like kind of like dreadlocks in a way. Um, but again, we're linking him with Kush again. So at least what I found, Seva or Shiva. Um, and I was looking into this. Some were saying that Shiva could have been Nimrod himself. But when I looked into the Kali mythology, it wasn't that Kali was killing Shiva. It was just that Shiva was calming down Kali. Um, and then his idol is that lingam. It's basically like a cylinder, and it's got like um these basically like three lines and one line in the center, and that is supposed to be like representative of Shiva's like third eye.
Oh, I got you.
And then there's a video again from Praveen Mohan talking about there's this lingam that is supposed to be in another temple called Tiruvannamalai temple, and that's where it's supposed to it could be, because this lingam basically generates heat. They don't know why this rock formation generates heat, and there could be like coils inside that cylinder that generate heat. So it could have been like this ancient Tesla coil.
I got you.
Um,
Yeah, I seen some of those writings on the wall with look like a big light bulb
mhm.
and helicopters and mushroom clouds of, I guess that technology, that knowledge, whoever, that fallen angel, whoever gets a hold of that knowledge, they can rule. What I mean? I think about, and not to be on the side note, but I think
Hey,
about even when the whole we hate Hitler, this, that, and the other, he's just so terrible, and then let all of the science, the German scientists come over here, 1954, and the Operation Paperclip. I'm like, well, wait a minute, now how they not in jail? You know what I mean? You're trying to pick their brains and trying to figure out how they got this U-boat or this submarine, and how they got all of this technology and floating bell-like looking devices, and going making these trips to Antarctica and all this other stuff. But it's kind of was like, man, who they're trying to a race to get this knowledge to be on
mm,
top, to dominate. You know what I mean? If some countries got these nuclear weapons and others don't. Some countries got these lasers and guns and ships and crafts. They got stuff we haven't even seen yet. They ain't showing it on the market.
uh,
I mean, they hitting on it because they can't. They put it in the movies and it look like it's a science fiction movie, but they got a lot of that stuff already. They had a lot of that stuff 20 years, but they hide it. They don't show it. And so I just think
mm,
about that whole knowledge. You know what I
yeah,
mean? To try to be in control, to obtain, to be on top. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
But what does it say? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
yeah,
What? So it's kind of like Yahusha said, the meek shall inherit the earth. You don't have to divide and conquer and take it. You don't have to team up with a fallen angel to get it. The meek shall inherit the earth. You know what I mean? And so there I go preaching again. All right, finish with Shiva, brother.
yeah. Oh, give me 1 second. I think
Yeah,
someone is calling me.
okay. But yeah, man, Nimrod. What is this? He said Nimrod was uh, Amraphel. Amraphel. Which book is that, brother Rose? Ross. Yeah. Which book is that? Krishna, the female deity radar. Yeah. A lot of these different, like, I think a lot of times that's why I think a lot of the deities are blue, because maybe they don't want them to be black. If they got a lot of Kush base, they don't want them to be black. So they be like, you know what, we can make them blue. It's just a theory. You might nothing by it, but it's just very, very interesting. You know what I mean? But if y'all be for us, who can be against us? What happened to him? Like, he paused it. So somebody called him. Oh, I'm gonna mute his microphone. Okay. So blessings to everybody that came in. Shauna Shade, Brittany R, Ross. Blessings to you. Blessings to Teo. Blessings to Brother Karras. Listen to you in the mornings. Blessings to Ruva, overgrown Smurf. Uh, Naya's Truth. Shalom. Blessings to you. All right. Did we talk about the technology in the Hindu text? Did he talk about the technology in the Hindu text? Uh, no, he didn't. He was just saying some of the stuff that they were riding on, or riding on the back of a serpent, or coming in on different things like that. But he didn't. He really didn't go into that. We definitely got to do. Oh, it's in Genesis, bros. We definitely got to do a part 2 to that. Oh, I got something in the private chat. Oh, I'm back. You should be. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
All right. So we're gonna finish up with Shiva, and then we're gonna pray. We're gonna wrap it up. But Minister Taya was asking that you talk about the technology in the Hindu text. A
Uh,
lot of those writings on the
mm,
wall, even the Sumerian text, the hieroglyphics, we see a lot of and they share what they want to share. A lot of times they will put it on, unsolved mysteries or unseen show, whatever. Not an unsolved mysteries. You know the show I'm talking about, that's on the History Channel. And then other times they hide information. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah.
but but I think it's just a race to see who gets the most technology to
Mm,
be in control.
yeah, but
To
it's
be in
it,
control.
but it's that fruit of it's the poisonous tree. It's that
Yeah,
so, but
yeah.
Yeah, I think as far as the technology and things, most high willing, I still have to look into that because
Okay.
every time I'm reading that, I have to repent. So there's a lot of things that I got to repent from of my ancestors and what they were coming up with. So
Yeah.
for me, and this is kind of a basic introduction, but
Yeah.
and for me too, like I'm just scratching the surface
Right.
of these things. But and I do think and shout out to brother TCA, he did touch up a little bit about the Vedic text, how they were talking about metallurgy, and but that's something that personally, most high willing, so that I can repent of these things, um to
Yeah.
look into.
Yeah. We are, as long as we're not in denial and we honest with ourselves about where we at, and he said, cast your cares upon me because I care for you, and keep trying to get better. That's when we get our deliverance. That's when we try to stay stuck and we stay in a certain place. We can't get the deliverance that is necessary for us. Some things are a struggle, some things are easy. You know what I mean? The things that I struggle, I tell the Most High, I say, I like this. My flesh likes this. But according to scripture, according to your word, uh, according to the nudging of the ruach in my heart, I know that this is not right. So change my appetite and help me. And he does it. You know what I mean? You just got to be honest with the Most High, because we can fool one another, but we can't fool him. You know what I mean? And so I understand that. You know what I mean? Just think about. Well, no, we can go there. Let's just say, for instance, somebody was a believer, a Hispanic believer, and they did all of the dead um, ceremonies and all of that, strong, hardcore Catholic. Then all of a sudden, it's like Most High tugging on your heart, like, man, look, we want you to do something different. That ain't how it is. That's not me. You're going to struggle with that. To be honest, the traditions, it's things that you did. Even a lot of folks
Mm.
struggle right now with, putting, deck the halls and all of that, and the whole nine. You know what I mean? And you do struggle with that, and that's why we got to fully surrender and ask the Most High to help us. Help. Here's what he said. Teo said, he's right. That is the knowledge from the tree of good and evil. Absolutely, and it's been that way ever since. Ever since, and even that book of Enoch is so key. You know what I mean? They showed us stuff that we weren't thinking of. Showed us how to make swords and adorn the eyes and just do all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, y'all shouldn't have revealed that to them. Y'all in trouble. Then the watchers, she like, go Enoch, go on behalf of us and tell the Most High we sorry. Most High like, nah. you still it's still on and popping, and I'm paraphrasing it. But if you read the book of Enoch, and if you read the book of Enoch, you know what I'm talking about. But I think that deception and that coming as an angel of light is what really trips us up. And then there's a famine, not just for bread, but it's a famine for the word of the Most High. So it needs to be a constant teaching of the Most High, because one or two generations, I hate to say the word unchurched, but not being a follower of the way. Let's put it like that. If you don't get study the scriptures, and then your seed don't study the scriptures, that's two generations. By the time they seed come to third, now we don't have the knowledge of the Most High. We don't understand the ways of the Most High. That's only two generations. And now we toss the fro by every wind and doctrine, right? We all over the place. You know what I mean? And it might look good and feel good to our flesh. Now we all over the place, don't even know. We can't bring it in, and it might sprinkle a little bit of feel good with a little bit of new age. And I've seen that a lot. That was the new age with the Madame Blavatsky, and it was really the 20s and the 30s and even the 40s, and do what thou wilt. Aleister Crowley and a lot of these different minds things was coming and bringing different things and mixing and mixing with quote unquote Christianity, and it's just like we can't really decipher the two. We can't tell the difference a lot. So we tell the Most High, what is of you? What is not of you? And I think that's what the awakening does. And I think that's what the awakening is doing in part. And so folk like, we fine, we good, you know, we replaced y'all, go back to sleep, we good. But then you got some people that's like, no, I'm finna study them scriptures, I'm gonna study them books, I'm gonna do those different things, I'm gonna look and see what's up. And so now it's like people is like, man, we good. No, we don't want to go to sleep. I don't want him to say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, I never knew you. I wanted to get it right on this end, right here, right now. That's my goal, is to get it right with the Most High. You know, we share these different things, not to, you know, people, I'm about to expose this, that. It's not about exposing. It's about walking in love, and it's walking in His truth, right? And walking in the things that the Most High want us to walk in. And that's the reason why we had these conversations. We have these bills. We had these conversations, not to beat up on anybody, you know, but now I know some of my friends that's coexist friends, and some of my friends that's in Hinduism or Buddhism, they're gonna be offended. But it's in love. It's truly in love. It's not, you know, because we don't, you know, I don't want to be in denial. You know, that's one of the things, even when you're doing Alcoholics Anonymous, and you sit around, you have to say out of your mouth, I am an alcoholic. Okay. Now you acknowledge that. Now we can start making steps to working it. But long as I'm fine, I'm a social drinker, I don't have a problem. Well, don't come to, you can't get your deliverance. We can't go to the road of recovery. And that's just on the natural program. So that's the same thing with the Most High. Most High, I deal with this. Most High, I struggle with this. I need your help, right? Change my appetite. I tell them straight up, I like this. I know you don't like it. According to your word, according to what the Holy Spirit is saying, help me change my appetite. Be honest with him, because we can fool one another, but we can't fool him. You know what I mean? And then we ask him to lead us and guide us into all truth, and he'll do it, man. He will do it. He will do it. Bless us, Hateo. Amen. So that's what we on. We have to like preserve that word, preserve it. You know, we gotta bring it back. It's, you know what I mean, and be in meditation, be in remembrance of the word. You know what I mean? Oh, I already heard John 5. I already heard, you know, Ecclesiastes. I already heard. No, keep on getting it. Wash with the water of the word. Being washed with it. Being washed, it can lead us. It's our plumb line. It's our roadmap. It's our guide. It helps us to discern. So we can say, I remember I was in college. Well, we got to go because we've been on an hour and 53 minutes. But I was in college, and a hypnosis guy came on there. Now I wasn't all the way together in college, you know. Had my little music going on and everything. I was trying to get a record deal, whatever. But I knew I knew not to mess with no doggone hypnosis. So the dude came on the campus, hypnotized people. He said, when you wake up, these napkins, he has some McDonald's napkins. When you wake up, these napkins are going to be $100 bills. You know what I mean? So they did the whole thing. They woke up. They put the napkins out there, and they was all ripping and tearing up the trying to get the napkins, and all the audience was laughing and having a good time. And even though I wasn't right, I knew that wasn't right. I said, nah, man, we can't be up in here messing with these spirits and all that. You know, my friends are like, come on, man, listen. No, bro. No, sir. I'm gone. You know what I mean? And that would, you know, so when we got to walk circumspectly. We're not trying to offend nobody. But we got to walk circumspectly. We got to be washed with the water of the word. We got to be led by his ruach. It's an open book test. He left his word. We got to read it. We can't go no old wives' tales. We have to read it. We have to get back to reading that word and then being led by the ruach. You know what I mean? Because if not, he said, I'm not saying nothing else, because you're doing your own thing. So now we got to be left to the gift of gab and charisma, because the anointing gone. The anointing shut down, right? We can't flow because we didn't listen to him. So he's like, okay, you want to do your own thing. You know what I mean? We can't go to step B because we didn't do step A. And so that's what he's just showing us. That's what he wants us to do. Any final thoughts or comments? This is really awesome. Put a one in the chat if you think this was was really awesome. You know what I mean? This is how I eat, though. You know what I'm saying? I like this kind of stuff. It helps me understand. Um, and I thank you for even coming out. And you didn't share in closing. You didn't share with the about your awakening, like
Uh-huh.
what actually happened. Share the awakening. We're gonna close out in prayer, and we definitely got to get you on the part 2, man. And
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I still haven't connected with Shiva. There's like with the CERN and stuff like that.
okay,
I still got to touch and look into Pastor Darby and his what he thought about like the CERN technology.
mm-hmm,
Like big picture, all I understand right now from CERN is that this is their way of trying to open this portal,
mm-hmm,
also known as this in the South Indian language in uh, Silatornam, and this is in Telugu language. It's a
okay,
round arc, basically a round portal. So they're trying to open these portals that these angels, the Most High, sealed up.
come on,
Basically, Azazel. The Most High told Raphael to seal up Azazel in this place. So there's angels that are bound that they're trying to release. The scientists, I don't think, know this, but the
yeah,
people that are funding CERN, they know.
yeah,
They know that they want to release these angels because it all goes back to they want to build this Tower of Babel again. They want to fight against the Most High.
yeah.
And,
The new world. Yeah.
yeah.
A gravy set. Absolutely. And they call it the God particle. It's antimatter or dark matter. And they're trying to create the Big Bang because a lot of people still they believe in that Big Bang theory. So they're trying to create this spark and try to, like you say, open up the portal. Um, it's interesting even where it's at. I think the city is part of it sits on a city town called Apolliacum or something
Mm,
like that. And then in Revelation talking about Abaddon I seen the bottomless pit open, uh, Abaddon and Apollyon and all that, and so they're trying to open up these different portals or whatever. And even the Stephen Hawking's guy in the wheelchair, like, man, I don't know if we should do that because we don't know what's going to happen when we open it.
mm,
We don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if it's going. They don't know what's going because
mm,
you can't control it. You know what I mean? And even when they did the nuclear, the Chernobyls and stuff, y'all start mixing and messing with chemicals and messing with stuff. You don't know what's gonna happen. So you ask the Most High, is this good? Stay away from it. Yes,
mm.
yes, Abba. And keep on moving. He
Yeah.
trying to hide something from you. You trying to hide knowledge. Same thing the serpent said. He know that you're gonna be like him. You already
Mm,
like him. You already made an image and likeness. He gave you everything, right? But your
right.
restriction brings your expansion. He said, touch every tree except that tree of knowledge of good and evil. That restriction gives you expansion. And he's not hiding nothing from you. But if we listen to the serpent, this it makes us think that the Most High is hiding something from him. He know that you'll be like him. He know, and then next you know, we try to go off the knowledge, technology. We going after this
Mm,
knowledge, this fallen angel knowledge. You know what I mean? And they like, look, we need a host, right? A lot of them they don't have no body. They're in spirit form. They need a host. They need us to be in agreement with them to help them. So they tell us, hey man, come on over here, open this up. Da, 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 da. It's no coincidence that it's in a certain part of the
mm,
world. It's no coincidence that where it's at, right?
right.
No, it's a reason why it's right there. It's a reason why they wanted to open that up, you know. And
Yeah.
so it's a lot of different wicked things, man. Because even and this is it closing for real. Luke 4, when the Yahusha was in the wilderness, and the Hasatan came and he attempted him. If you're the son, Most High, jump off this cat. The angels that have charge over thee, and you won't dash your foot on the stone, all this different stuff. Well, somebody took up on the what the most the high Satan said. Somebody took up on it, like, oh man, we can have glory, we can have riches, we can reign and rule with you. Oh man, and it's a fear of a black planet, like the public enemy say. It's a fear of
Mm,
Israel coming to who they are. But if you are really for the kingdom of the Most High, you want order restored. You want because that's going to hasten the return of the king. You want these different things. Why would you want to
Yeah.
keep us in perpetual ignorance and in darkness and not come back to the place where we need to be? We want things restored. If you're for the king, if you're for the kingdom, you want Israel restored. You want everything to be restored, to be right in its rightful place so the king can return. But some people don't want the king to come back. They want to have a great reset. They want to have a new world order. They want to continue to build that Tower of Babel. They do not want him coming back. That's why they got these space forces and all these different things. And, Anunnaki's coming on mothership. I never understood that because in Funkadelic is the mothership connection. And we was like, yeah, mothership connection. Man, these are things that's gearing us up for something to come. Aqua Boogie, that's underwater kingdom. I never think about that stuff.
Yeah.
Slipping into darkness. War, that was my song. Slipping into darkness. Why you want to slip into darkness for? So a lot of these different things that are dark, that our flesh loves, they're against our spirit. But I didn't mean to get on the soapbox, man. You charged me up. I thank you for coming on here, man. We definitely got to have a part 2. Don't feel like, oh man, I didn't get all the way with Shiva. But we hit it right. We hit it right on the head. That I don't know. They dug it up and put it out there. These are ceremonies, man.
Yeah.
These are different things, man. And so we have to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove.
Yeah.
We have to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove.
Yeah. This is that was something, part of my awakening, because I didn't just come into the scriptures and Bible like that. I had to be shown, proven that Satan really existed, through whether it was through Hollywood, and it was like it was this guy's channel. They shut his channel down. Black Child Videos. He would show all these Hollywood. He would show that they would have this meta gala and have these different kind of rituals. And there was this lady who said you had to sign your name in blood and all these things. And then they kept showing the OK symbol, the all-seeing eye symbol, then looking at my dollar bill and looking at the all-seeing eye and saying, "In God we trust." Like, it didn't make sense. How could you be a Christian nation and then have that symbol on there? And so then I reasoned, if Satan exists, then there's got to be a right immortal being that exists, or a right God. But who was that? Who was that God? So I was kind of like Abraham in that way. Like, Abraham was still searching, he wasn't still searching, but at the time when he was trying to connect with the Most High, when the sons of Shem fell off from serving the Most High after Noah passed away, he was trying to figure out who is God: is fire God, is sun God, is water God. And then he reasoned and figured out that there was a creator that created those things, and that was the Most High. And that's what led to his awakening. And it's kind of similar to mine in that sense, when I was reading the Vedic text when the rishis were trying to figure out who was God in that aspect. And then yeah, I did have some supernatural, I guess, dreams, visions of like the Most High, the when the Most High, the way I saw him and way he was depicted, he had melanated skin, he had the perfect woolly hair, the white cloak, and the chain with the crest of Levi, and the sword around his belt. And there was, like, I guess, one dream where I had where he was a lion at first, and then he transformed into what I just described, and he was just saying, "Draw the lines, choose your side. You've read my word, choose your side." And it was just also with this. Well, I don't know if I can say this. Oh, well, I'll speak it in code because I don't want your channel to get shut down. But it's the Tootsie Roll. I'm gonna say that. And the Most High kept saying 3 times, don't eat the Tootsie Roll.
To the
And
left, to the left. No, I'm playing. No, go ahead, man. I'm being silly.
so so that's that's when I dug up into that kind of research. And then I found out that yeah, I'm not eating that Tootsie Roll. So
Understood, man. That's cool, man. All right, man. It was a really blessing, and I was wanting to know how like he wakes up other people outside of the nation to say that we're the people. How did you come to the contact or to the knowledge that whoa, these people are Yashara? How did you like
oh, that is the same way. So the
same way?
same way that I had to know that Satan existed. So the Most High was showing who the congregation of Satan are, the synagogue of Satan, that this world, has been deceived, and he was showing when I was reading the book of Matthew, and Yahushua was saying specifically about prayer, and he was talking about do not pray like in the streets, like you're in the streets being seen by other men, pray in a closet. And that clicked in my mind, the these these people here in Israeli, they do what Yahushua said not to do. They go to the Herod temple and they pray, being seen by other men. And it was like they can't be the Hebrews. They that was the first cornerstone. And then something in the book of Enoch talking about Cain, but then with more edification. Shout out to TCA bringing in about the Canaanites and the Canaanite studies. Um, that led me to say, like, yeah, these people can't be uh, the children of Jacob. And then also shout out to also Brother Rawls Tally for reading like the Book of Jasher, and I was reading it along with him while watching the brothers recording, but then the name Kazar popped up. And so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. uh,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Rev
I'm sorry.
29, Rev 29. We got you,
Yeah.
man.
Yes. I hope I hope
No, you're good.
I
You're
hope
good. You're
your
good.
channel doesn't get shut
Nah,
down because of that.
nah, man.
But
I ain't got enough traction, man. I ain't got enough traction. But in a minute, no, it's all good. So we all transition into Hebrew Connect and the Hebrew Sphere and you know Odyssey and different channels like that. I got to get all that stuff up and running
yeah.
because
Uh,
you can't suppress
yeah.
censor truth or whatever because truth is going to be hate speech in a minute. The way they
Yeah.
doctor it up. But we live off truth.
Right.
People are delivered off truth, right? People are saved off truth. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so to want to shut it down, it must be something good. So we gonna get you back on here again, man.
Uh,
We went in pretty.
oh, one thing I wanted to
Yes,
touch
sir.
though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So after I learned that, it was then I pulled back Genesis 15, talking
Mm-hmm.
about the Most High telling Abraham that, your seed will be in a strange land for 400 years. And then, I did follow Dante Fortson. He was talking about this 400 years as well. And then when I Google searched 1619 to 2019, the 400 years. So that's what, you know, I guess clicked to me that, these people might be the real people. And then there was something about this Arab prime minister talking about I
They
think his
left
name.
black and came back white.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He was mad at somebody and told us secrets, man. Yeah, look,
right.
you get somebody mad, they gonna tell the truth. They left black and came back white, but they was messing with him, so he's like, I'm gonna tell the truth. But yeah, man, and then the curses of the consequences. We don't say curses. We're gonna do what Sister Only Love say. The consequences. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Deuteronomy 28. I mean, if anybody else, any other nation, fit that what's happening in Deuteronomy 28, then let us know. You know what I mean? But until then, it, I don't know. So people fight tooth and nail, but it ain't about that. At this point, it ain't about that. You know what I mean? Scripture said they'll kill you and think they're doing me a service. You know, people going on a war path and a rampage. But it's all good. We want the Most High to return.
Yep.
Thank you. One of my ministries I look up to, Teo Ministries. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. That inspired me to make it happen. All right. Thank you guys for joining. And thank you for coming on, man. And we're going to have to give people are saying they want part 2, man. We got to get a part 2 in there, you know. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Brother Ro. That they're saying. Thanks for sharing for real. So we're gonna end, and I'm glad you shared that. But that's very, very interesting. I had to ask you, how did you know that we as a people? You know, people are waking up left and right. You know what I mean? People, you know, I have cousins just call me. I got that question actually. What are we the people? What do you mean, people of the book? Who told you that? You just woke up and like, why are you asking me that? So then I broke it down to him and I told him. He's like, wow, I always knew that, man. You know what I mean? When you read that Exodus 3 and Exodus 2, I'm like, hold on. That look like us, man. That's a crazy coincidence right there. So Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversation dealing with elephants in the room. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. I am out.